Welcome to Mindfully Integrative Podcast with your host, Dr. Damaris G. Mindfully Integrative is a podcast discussing ways toward mindfully incorporating integrative health into our lives. This podcast will have informative resources, fun topics, interviews, and discussions relatable for today with a true mindful perspective in a mind-body, holistic life approach.
Hi, how are you? This is Damaris Marie Grossman, and today we're kind of talking about one of my favorite supplements called magnesium. And I know that some of you have heard that it has the highest amount of deficiency in the body, but people don't realize that there is over 10 to 11 types of magnesium. And understanding what it does and why it's important is something that I think each one of us has to understand. So it's definitely a necessity, a very important mineral within the body to help with regulating a lot of things. It does many things with muscle and nerve function. It helps with overall needs for metabolic and energy production. And a lot of individuals that have chronic illness are usually like in a heart disease, type 2 diabetes, mood disorders, migraines. Usually there's a deficiency. Now, the most amazing thing about magnesium is that it's a vasodilator. So what it does is it opens up blood vessels and it brings things in. So the intake of this supplement usually helps alleviate blockages, alleviate things that of the nature of constriction. So why would it help someone with heart disease? Because think about it, you have a blockage, you have something constricting the blood vessels. Magnesium is helping with that. Individuals that have pregnancy, have high blood pressure, they're usually given drips of high blood pressure, high drips of magnesium. I remember that very distinctively when I had preeclampsia with my pregnancy. Type 2 diabetes, same situation. Your kidneys are not filtering properly and your pancreas is also having. So it all comes down to like flow and blockage and ease. And we talk a ton about when things are flowing, there is ease. When things are not, there is disease. So magnesium really kind of goes to that. I mean, it's not the only go-to, but it has such an array of things that it does for the body. And when you really think of the mechanism of action, being that it is a opening up the blood vessels and it lowers the blood pressure and it's a vasodilator, I mean, it dilates the vessels. There is so much there. Plus, there is so much nutrients that it does for the body. Now, I had said at one point that it was 10 different types. There's, I believe, 11 different types of magnesium and what it can do for your body. Now, on average, an individual can do about 400 to 500 milligrams a day. I take about 600 milligrams a day, depending upon the need. I'll do one citrate and I'll also do glycinate for me, myself. That's the ones that I can take. But other things you can get in food and nutrients and online. So let's talk about the first type of magnesium, and it is called magnesium aspartate. Not aspartate, the sugar, or reason what this is that the other main thing that magnesium does is that it is the connection or the receptor to help the proteins and the amino acids. Now, magnesium aspartate is the receptor for aspartic acid. So here it helps with binding that. And it'll help boost individuals' testosterone, helps boost zinc. It helps with overall needs. Now, sometimes there is some things where people are saying if you have too much of this, then your testosterone will be altered. That's not necessarily true. It's just that the binding mechanisms of this can help. So that is why magnesium aspartate. So when you hear the last word, it's because it is binding to or helping build up the amino acid of that nature. So next one is considered magnesium citrate. Magnesium citrate is it's usually used most people for constipation. Usually one of the first choices or citric acid people would use. Now think about it. Citric acid is amino acid. Magnesium citrate is the binding agent for, in a sense, receptor for citric acid. Now, citric acid will help the bowel movement, or citric fruits or lemon, things of like that nature. Now, an individual that takes the magnesium orally will help open up and alleviate your bowels usually. In addition, it's also a vasodilator, so it will relax you. So all of them in turn will have some sort of vasodilation and lowering of helping lower blood pressure, helping relax you, but each one has a purpose. So then the next one is magnesium chloride. And with this, it shows that usually you find it in seawater, salts, lakes of that nature, and is a very wide range. For people will use this mostly not for edible. This is considered more in the realm of soaking. So magnesium chloride is like in the same realm that we would use for soaking our feet and bathing. So it would be a foot soak for opening up that area and relaxing. Epsom salts, you'll hear that kind of term. They kind of go a little hand in hand in a sense. There's just another word that you'll hear, oh, what is that? But that is still not fully magnesium chloride, but they're similar. It's actually magnesium sulfate, but we'll go into that in just a second. Magnesium oxide is a salt that is a combination of magnesium and oxygen. And what it is that overall, people will take this in a liquid form. And usually it's for coating the stomach lining. Usually the main thing here too, again, is constipation, but we're talking about why it's also used to coat the lining of the throat. People will use it when they have an upset stomach. So they have reflux, and you're realizing, why am I doing that? It's probably because there is an extra lower or too high acidity within the stomach. You've eaten something of nature that has caused you discomfort, and it will help kind of release that within the body, and you're able to alleviate some of that discomfort and pain. The next one is considered magnesium malate, and magnesium malate is absorption of the malate amino acid, malic acid, and magnesium. And what you're doing there is you're absorbing and maintaining your levels within the blood. You can usually get this with foods, but this one is usually used for individuals with like a neuromuscular nerve issues, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, pain, soreness. There's still more research that needs to be done on that, but that is usually the reason behind that type, and can be added in with a provider that can do that. The next type is considered magnesium taurate. And magnesium taurate is a combination of taurine and magnesium. And with this is the role is to help with lowering your blood sugar. So in turn, it's supposed to facilitate lowering that excess glucose, alleviating, insulin and glucose levels, because there should be at a balance. And overall, in addition, of course, will help with lowering blood pressure. Almost all of these will help alleviate, even if it's situational, a little bit of blood pressure because of the vasodilation. The next one is considered magnesium lactate, and that's lactic acid and magnesium. And what do you think about that? Most people that say lactic acid, they're always talking usually about muscular buildup, or in addition to that, also digestive enzymes increasing to help with. It is really big on muscular soreness, leg cramps. Pregnant women usually get the magnesium lactate for when they're also menstruating, or menstruating women or pregnant women that have leg cramps, backaches, things of that nature. That's usually what magnesium lactate is. Magnesium glycinate. Now, this one is glycine, amino acid, and magnesium. And what it is that this one is really big on the sleep assistance. So when you hear someone say, oh, I took magnesium, there's different ones. Now, you can do magnesium citrate day or night. That's one that I usually recommend. But magnesium glycinate is specifically for inflammatory and sleep assistance. A lot of these individuals would benefit because it is usually due to a stress response, and it's due to an anxiety driven or inflammatory response. And the research has shown that magnesium glycinate helps with the GABA inhibit, bringing up uptake of the neurotransmitters of GABA to help sleep, and the assistance for that. So what in turn is that the benefit of this vasodilation kind of brings more of those assisted sleep aids to kind of get you to your REM sleep so that you're really in quality sleep. So you're not just sleeping because. The next would be magnesium orotate, and that's a combination of your magnesium and orotic acid. Now, what is this for? This is kind of more on the cellular level. This works with heart health, energy, mitochondrial health, and this is where you're look at. It's a little bit more expensive to get, but this is an option. There's a CoQ10 that can be used, but this is an option that has been used to help with heart health and for mitochondrial function to build up the energy in the cells and reproduction. Magnesium sulfate is the use for, again, it can be used for constipation, but the other impact is depending upon the dose. You want to make sure you're not taking too much of that one because that one can give you a little bit more of an upset. So it's not my first choice, but it's an option because it has a sulfur component in there. And some individuals have an allergy or have a sensitivity. So I don't even recommend that one too often. Magnesium L-threonate. Now this one is theranic acid and magnesium combined, and it's water soluble, and it helps break down vitamin C. So when you're thinking about things, you go vitamin C. Okay, what do I need to do that for? You want to break it down so that it absorbs better within the body. And it also helps, with overall, even considered for brain disorders, depression, memory loss. You'll see this with a combination of glycinate in some of the pharmaceutical grade pills. So they'll have this one with glycinate, a lot to help with sleep disturbances and also with brain health. So I hope you liked my conversations about supplement magnesium. Now let's talk about how can you get magnesium without taking a supplement? You can in nature, right? Anything from black beans, edamame, nuts, whole grains, vegetables, dark chocolate at least at an 85% with less sugar. So those are options for you. Because the reason why you want to take these magnesium supplements or the regular natural food is because it can really help with ADHD, fatigue, asthma, chronic fatigue, high blood pressure, heart problems, inflammation, migraines, insulin resistance, muscle cramps, premature aging, poor memory. Now, why does it do all of those things? It's just like I had stated before. Each one has its purpose and each one has an amino acid benefit. So this is a way to kind of connect and build up those amino acids so that your body can help with your sleep. So the benefits of them are to, gain your body at the most optimal level. And what happens is sometimes we don't have those amino acids within the body. So yes, you can also take amino acids in a supplement or food wise, but this is when we are deficient. If you have any more questions and you'd like to reach out, talk to me at any time, and I'm glad to help. I'm here at Mindfully Integrative, and this is Damaris Grossman, and I'll talk with you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Mindfully Integrative Show with Dr. Damaris Maria Grossman, family nurse practitioner. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not to substitute for professional medical advice, diagnose, or treat. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your healthcare routine. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you enjoyed our show, please support us by leaving a mindful review on Apple Podcast or your favorite streaming platform. Interested in being a guest or more information? Email us at info@mindfullyintegrative.com. For resources mentioned in the show, visit our website at www.mindfullyintegrative.com. You can also connect mindfully with Dr. Damaris on her social media links found on the site. May your strength and peace guide you to find a mindful way every day. Namaste.